To start this project, I used a pumpkin wreath form from Dollar Tree and 10 packages of Dollar Tree nautical rope. I started from the outside edge and just wrapped around the rope and then weaved it under, over through all the little pieces and just kept going back and forth all the way across with each piece of rope. As I went, I just kept pushing the rope close together and just trying to keep it tight as I could. And remember that on the first row, you're going to go over, under, but then on the next row, you're going to go the opposite. You're going to go under, over. As you can see, when I got to the end, I kept hot gluing the ends over. What I found towards the end of as I was finishing up my pumpkin, is that it might have been easier for me to not glue the ends together and just leave about 5 or 6 inches hanging out. That way I would be able to adjust the tightness of my rope, which you'll see me doing towards the end. You can use this same technique with lots of different materials. For instance, you could use a chunky, really thick yarn. I think that would also be beautiful. You could use fabric, strips of fabric. You can do lots of different things, but I really wanted this sort of wicker look, which is why I chose the nautical rope. And the nautical rope that I'm using from Dollar Tree is the thicker version. As you start to get towards the bottom of your pumpkin, you'll see me start to struggle a lot with this. The rope starts to just kind of slide down. So this is the reason why I recommend not hot gluing the ends together. I found that out as I, just got towards the end of it. I think it would be easier to just kind of get it weaved in there and get it really good and full, and then give yourself room and space to be able to adjust, loosen, tighten, all those different things with your rope. As I get it tighter and tighter, I just keep trying to push up the rope and just get it tighter and tighter so that I've got more space on the bottom. And I just kept weaving it, going through every single wire. Now what I'm doing is just kind of going through all the different pieces and kind of pulling them and tightening them, trying to neaten things up a bit. I started on the back with this, and you'll see later I realized that was the wrong thing to do, and I ended up starting over. Also, you can see that I am kind of pulling some of the end pieces away and kind of pulling them away from the hot glue, and just so that I'm able to adjust them a little bit better. So now I'm adding one last piece kind of through the middle in order to tighten it just a little bit. So I ended up doing 11 pieces total. And this piece I felt just kind of filled things in just a little bit more. 10 pieces I think will totally work though. Okay, so now I'm starting at the top of the front of the pumpkin, and I'm just going down through every single strand, making sure that it's all organized, everything is tight and neat. And so basically I just took every single piece, started at the beginning, and just started just pulling every single through every single part and making sure it's nice and tight and neat. And all of the ends of the rope I ended up just leaving hanging out, and then you'll see at the end I just go through and fix all the ends. So now I just turned my pumpkin over, and I'm just taking all of the loose ends and folding them over, tucking them in, whatever I need to do to conceal them on the back. And I'm just using hot glue to do that. I will say this was not a quick project. This took me probably about 2 hours total from start to finish. So here I just took my pumpkin and I just kind of flattened it out just a little bit because it had gotten a little bit extra curved from all the rope. So I just pushed it onto my table. And now I'm just taking some jute. I just hot glued a little bit of jute on there. I'm just wrapping it around the stem to give me a little bit of a base to put my sticks. And this part does not have to be perfect because, like I said, we're going to add some sticks. So now we're just going to take some sticks just from your yard, nothing fancy, and just hot glue 3 or 4 of them right to that stem. So now I'm just going to make a cute little bow to go on the stem of my pumpkin. I decided to do a bow with 3 different ribbons just to give it a little bit of extra texture. If you don't know how to make a bow like this, I do have a video on our page, The Celebration Company, so definitely check that out. so that you can learn how to make a cute little bow like this. But it's very simple. Basically, it's just a matter of making loops and twisting after each loop. And then I just use a pipe cleaner to get it all tied together really, really tightly. Okay, so now I'm gonna take some wired jute or wired twine. This that I'm using, I actually got at Hobby Lobby. All I'm doing is just cutting pieces of it, wrapping it around the end of a marker or a pencil to make little curly vines for my pumpkin, and then I'm just sticking them in or hot gluing them to secure them. So this is just some Dollar Tree eucalyptus. I just took about 3 sprigs of it and cut it down and then just stuck it inside and around the bow to add a little bit of extra color. So these burlap leaves are from Dollar Tree. They're actually left over from last year. And I'm just gonna take 2 of those and just kind of stick them in. I thought they looked really, really good with the pumpkin. Now I'm just giving one final fluff to my bow, making sure it looks exactly the way I want it, and just kind of messing around with it. I also thought about trying these little orange berries that came from Dollar Tree this year, but I decided I didn't like those. So I'm just gonna take a little hot glue just to kind of secure those 3 ribbons right in the front of the bow, and then just give it one last fluff and it's ready to go.